Welcome back. You can't read anything behind us. Welcome to our third live stream. This is presentation and commentary. Somebody needs to turn the computer down because I can hear myself talking. It's probably not a good thing. We are joined by lead game designer and commentary extraordinaire, Kirby St. John. And we got my man, Ross Houston, his first stream. Is this your first cycle with us?
First one, yeah.
First one. My man, Rick Ross, is in the building. So before we start talking about presentation and commentary, first, we'll never ask for your passwords for anything. But we do have a giveaway, which will happen at 2:50 p.m. We will give away a keyword. We're giving away 2 digital deluxe editions of MLB The Show 18. We're also giving away 2 vouchers for 67,500 stubs. And we're giving 6 10-pack bundles. That will happen at 2:50 p.m. No purchase necessary. You do have to be here to win, and you can find the full rules at theshow.com. Presentation and commentary. I'm going to lead the couch so these guys can talk to you about it. I'll be back.
All right, Ramon's done his job, so we'll get right into it. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Really excited to be here, excited to have you along with us. We're going to be running through a lot of information today about presentation and commentary in MLB 18, the show. A lot of work's gone into this year, just like any other year, but there is a ton to talk about. We have a lot of videos lined up for you. We're going to get into some live gameplay later on as well. So stick around. It's going to be a great stream. And again, thank you so much for joining us. Ross is here. He's going to be talking about a lot of the stuff he's been working on alongside with me, and excited to detail all of that for you. One thing we're going to address right off the bat is Harold Reynolds. So Harold Reynolds, there's been a lot of speculation this week, knowing now that Harold Reynolds is no longer in the game. We want to make it real clear that Harold is a great friend of the game still. We loved working with him, and we're really, really happy with the product and how he came across in the game. We were really happy with that. Unfortunately, it became clear after a little bit of time this year that it was gonna have to be a mutual decision, that it wasn't gonna work out for him to be in the game long term, mostly due to scheduling concerns and whatnot. So once again, it had nothing to do with any kind of performance or anything like that. We were really happy with Harold. But that being said, when we made that decision, and again it was mutual, we had the opportunity then to explore other opportunities, and that led us to looking at some other MLB Network talent. We have a great relationship with them, and we ran some auditions and came across Mark Derosa, and we announced him on Monday. If you didn't get to check out the GameStop Monday video, go ahead and check that out. However, announcing it again today, Mark Derosa is the new color commentator in MLB 18, the show, alongside Dan Plesac on the color side, and then of course Matt Vasgersian on the play-by-play. D-Row, as we all call him around here, and people are at MLB Network and in the game call him, so we call him D-Row a lot. D-Row played parts of 16 seasons in the major leagues, 8 different teams, and was widely known as one of the better utility players in the game. He played a number of different positions, mostly in the infield, and one thing that we really, really liked about that is that it really brought a unique perspective to his commentary into the game, and you will notice that throughout when you're playing the game. You're hearing his lines talking about playing different positions and the challenges those bring, and also talking about being a pinch hitter or different types of things like that. So unique perspective, really excited about that, and excited to have D-Row in the game. We're going to be showing off a lot of him today, and you'll hear him in the live gameplay as well, and so we hope you enjoy that. One thing that we really wanted to do, because we were starting fresh with D-Row and bringing it and having Dan for the second year, Dan Plesac, one thing we really wanted to do, and Ross had a lot to do with this, is working those 2 guys in together into the same booth. Not just those 2 guys, all 3 commentators, but we really wanted to make sure that those guys were communicating together, recording together, and providing a lot of conversational content. Conversation stuff has been an emphasis in the past, but this year we really, really had the opportunity to get them in the booth same time and have them feeding off each other. So
we got a lot of good improvisation out of them. They're making each other laugh, and I think it sounds a lot more natural than what we've seen in years past, perhaps. So.
Right, absolutely. They're able, like you said, they're able to kind of be on top of each other at times, or add to what one of them said, or and there's definitely some laughable moments as well, in a good way, of course, making each other laugh, and so we're excited about that. So something we're going to show off right now is some examples. We're going to have a couple of video examples, different points of the game where they will be they're feeding each other or talking about what's going on, and so giving you a little example of that right now.
Take a look at the Rockies' starting play here tonight. They come in the midst of a stretch where they've dropped 6 of their last 9.
Yeah, Matty B, we're looking at a team right now. They're just playing some average baseball through 4 games of this homestand. They split it 2-2, D-Row, and I think they expect a little bit more.
Yeah, and you don't want to be playing average baseball in front of your home fans. They need to find a way to win this game and try and take 3 out of the first 5 of this homestand.
Hit on the ground to third. Gloved by Arenado. And there's one.
All right, next one here.
Sinking line drive out to right center. And that's into the outfield for a 1-out base hit.
Hey, there's another base knock right there. A hitting streak now up to 8 games.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, 8 games. Nah, man, we're starting to think about it a little bit. You get past that week, you just know you're locked in. They start talking 8 games, now you're like, all right, I got a nice little hitting streak going.
Sharply on the ground to the left. Great effort on the dive, but it's through into left. And they're not going to get him as he's in there to score.
Hey, there's a good job of battling right there, D-Row. Pitcher have the advantage with 2 outs, 2 strikes. You're 1 pitch away, and boy, what a terrific piece of hitting right there.
Yeah, that's a great job right there. Some guys are not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. They'll take that pitcher deep in the count, feeling comfortable about it. That's the type of hitter this guy is, and he was able to come through.
All right, cool. So got a couple of good examples there at different times of the game, and you can kind of see that they're asking questions, answering questions. And one of the cool things about it too is because Dan was a pitcher, a big time veteran pitcher, and then and D-Row played so many years as a position player, they're able to provide those perspectives. And you will hear them kind of asking each other, hey, as a position player, D-Row, what was your mindset in this situation? And the same thing the other way. If D-Row might be asking Dan about being in a tough spot as a relief pitcher and that kind of thing. And even when they're speaking on their own, and when they're providing their own insights, they're really able to provide those perspectives. And that was one thing that really attracted us, about their relationship. So something that to keep an eye out for, keep an ear out for, and that we're really happy with the dynamic of our booth because of that.
For sure.
So Ross.
So
new this year, we really, really wanted to get in. Obviously, we're talking about conversational content, but what was the thing this year that that you kind of focused on in that realm that is kind of help tell that story, or help kind of tell the story of a single game or even a season?
Sure. So yeah, sort of in our effort to make things feel a lot more conversational, maybe reduce the amount of sort of unnecessary play-by-play a little bit, worked on a feature that we're calling dynamic storylines, where we really work to highlight sort of interesting narrative or dramatic situations that happen sort of over the course of a game or a season or a guy's career, and kind of talk about that throughout the whole game and sort of have the commentary actually dynamically change to reflect what's going on throughout the game.
Absolutely. So it's really cool. So now when we're talking about storylines, what kind of storylines are we talking about? I mean, what are they things that are going to be, things that are going to be emerging, things that are going to be, the emphasis from the beginning?
So yeah, we have a number of different ones, things involving like streaks and rivalries and stuff like that. So things that kind of take into account what's been going on earlier in the season or recently, as well as things that kind of emerge over the course of a game that are sort of unexpected.
Cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you a couple more. We're going to show you several more videos here. These are going to be this is all content driven by the storylines of the game. Yeah. Storylines that are set up at the beginning and then carrying out throughout the course of a game. So I'll let you explain some of these videos here.
Yeah, just to kind of set up what we're about to see. We're looking at sort of a crucial game and franchise that features 2 of the best pitchers in the game. In this case, it's going to be Madison Bumgarner and Clayton Kershaw. So we're going to be sort of highlighting that matchup and discussing it And the first thing you'll notice is actually our new dynamic load screen, which highlights the matchup, and that kind of goes into the pregame. So we'll take a look at that. Cool.
A beautiful summer night in Southern California. From Dodger Stadium, tonight the second of 3 to start the week between the San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers. We've got an excellent matchup on our hands in this one. Two of the league's craftiest starters go head-to-head next.
So there you kind of hear Matt mentioning what kind of pitchers they are and kind of setting up the matchup a little bit. So now we'll jump a little bit further into the game where they sort of analyze what we're going to see a little bit more.
Well, fans of good pitching are in for a real treat today. Guys, what can we expect from the matchup?
Well, Matty, these are two guys that aren't hard throwers. They're more touchy-feely guys. Hard, soft, up, down, in and out, D-row. And these are the kind of guys that can really frustrate you when you're in that batter's box.
100%, Dan. When you got a flamethrower on the mound, he's going to live and die with his good stuff. But when you got a finesse guy out there, you step out of the box and a lot of different thoughts start entering your mind. What should I sit on? This is going to be an interesting matchup.
So that was them kind of setting up the beginning of the matchup, discussing a little bit about what we might see. So now we're
early innings,
sort of in the early innings,
right.
kind of a little preview about what might happen. So now we're going to look to kind of jump ahead to, I believe, the 5th inning, partway through the game, to kind of see how things have been progressing.
Swung on and missed, outclassed by that fastball for a strike. Well, partway through this one, and it's safe to say that both of these starters have brought their best stuff, and each lineup looks a bit helpless out there.
Well, this one's kind of gone as we thought, D-row. Both of these command pitchers down in the strike zone, moving the ball up, down, in and out, making it very difficult for these hitters to put anything together.
Yeah, a lot of soft contact, a lot of indecision on the part of both offenses. Nobody seems to want to pot commit to any pitch because these guys are really mixing and matching.
So yeah, up until this point, things kind of progressing as we expected. These guys are both dealing. But sort of shortly after this clip ended, Bumgarner kind of got lit up by the Dodgers offense, gave up a bunch of runs, and got actually yanked from the game. So we're going to pick things up towards the end of the game with the reliever on the mound, where they kind of reflect on what sort of went down in the later parts of that matchup.
Too much for him there, 1-2. Needed a good performance from their ace today, but unfortunately for them, they didn't get it.
Yeah, D-row, this is one of those where it was almost over before it started. You know, this is what happens when you're a controlled type pitcher. If you're not around the corners and around the knees, you start getting balls up in the strike zone, and that's what he paid the price today.
Yeah, huge confidence boost for this offense, though. To face this guy, they knew they had to stay back. They couldn't be over-aggressive against him. He likes to move the ball in and out and do different things. Tip of the cap to this offense.
So that's a little glimpse at sort of our dueling aces storyline. If you play with different pitchers or different things happen in the game, you can kind of expect to hear them say different things that relate to your experience and kind of tell your personal story.
So yeah, the key, I mean, the keys there, I mean, is the idea that this is all branching. These are branching conversations. You know, as things change throughout a game, you're going to be hearing different lines. So you're not going to expect to hear the exact same conversation throughout the course of a game. It's branching. The other thing that you just mentioned too, that's really cool, is different matchups. You know, get different types of conversations. Could have a flamethrower type of guy up against a finesse pitcher, or two flamethrowers, or that kind of stuff. And then of course, all of the commentary, all the analysis, and everything throughout the game is dynamically changing.
And then you have things like, you know, an ace pitcher, like say Kershaw had an awful ERA, they'd be talking about things like that, him trying to get back on track. So we have all different kinds of permutations of what can go on.
Right, and that's, we're going to get into another storyline in just a second, but that's like, the word dynamic, I think, is one of the words that we really like emphasized from the very beginning, you and I, like when we were talking about what we want to incorporate into our commentary, and not just in the storylines, the stuff that's going to be changing with the players, changing with the teams and throughout the season, you know, and as they age, or as, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that we're not just commenting on, you know, the current day players. You know, it continues on, you know, as you play throughout our game.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So what's our next video is going to be about here?
So of course, sometimes something really incredible or amazing happens in a game, and then the storyline shifts more to be about that thing than what the commentators expected to talk about going in. Like a good example of that from this past season would be like Scooter Gennett's like 4 home run game. Clearly that dominated the conversation throughout the game. So we're going to look at something a little bit similar to that, sort of a large number of home runs being hit by both teams throughout the game and sort of how that changes the commentary.
Cool.
In now is the Yankees DH, Giancarlo Stanton. He's ready for his first at-bat of this early season contest. This is driven to right, and no doubt about it, that one's way out of here. It's a solo blast off the bat of Giancarlo Stanton. Home run number 3 here in the early going as the Yankees move out to a 3-0 lead. Well, that was this lineup's 3rd homer of the game.
Yeah, hey, Matty B, this big ballpark in the Bronx has that short porch in right field, D-Row, but you can hit the ball out of just about any part of this ballpark.
Yeah, this place plays sneaky small. I know it's got big gaps, but right field is so juicy. As a right-handed hitter, you don't feel like you have to cheat. Not surprised by what we saw today.
So as they mentioned, that was the Yankees' 3rd home run of the game, and you kind of hear the announcers during that replay talking about, you know, why we might be seeing so many homers early in the game, you know, where it was hit, the ballpark we're in, and all those kind of factors are taken into account. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool, like, unique factor of, you know, hey, this is a lot of home runs being hit, but like there's also, you know, there's some factors in play here, right?
So now we're going to jump ahead to a later point in the game where the Orioles have actually hit a couple homers of their own, and then we're going to hear how that sort of changes things.
These squads go yards 6 times now today. This game has developed into an absolute slugfest, huh, guys?
Dan, they're absolutely knocking the cover off the ball. I'm curious to get your take on this. I didn't find it to be the truth. I didn't mind hitting at night, but a lot of guys say they see the ball better during the day.
You know what's funny, D-Row, is I preferred to pitch in night games as opposed to day games. I always thought it was advantage to the hitter, and so far that looks like it's the case in this one right here. They must be seeing the ball really well because they're just absolutely smoking the baseball right now.
And this winds up inside for a ball. 2-0 now. No.
So yeah, like you heard there, rather than just being focused on the Yankees, they're talking about both teams now. They're talking about the time of day, how maybe it's a little weirder that all these homers are being hit in a night game since that's usually not as friendly to batters and things like that.
Interesting, yeah. And one thing real quick, we're seeing some comments about, like, you know, headache and that kind of stuff. Oh, this is all, you know, pre-final, all that kind of stuff. Still very much work in progress. So they will definitely be looking at the ball when they launch a ball like that. So just in case anybody was concerned about that, still work in progress, of course. All right, and so then what's our next next step
I see
here?
people calling out that this is actually a different game. I thought I could slip that one by, but clearly you guys catch everything. But so sometimes these lines don't play. There's a little bit of variance, so it's kind of a magical version that you might see, but you might not see. So we're going to skip ahead sort of towards the end of the game where we hear the announcers kind of reflecting on what they saw during the game.
First pitch is a pass ball that's looked at for ball 1. As we near the end of this one, I think it's safe to say that the story of the game has undoubtedly been the long ball. Guys, what do you think about what we've witnessed?
Well, as a former offensive player, I absolutely love it. Kudos to both lineups for doing absolute damage today. One of the most fun watches of the year.
You know, D-Row, what this shows me is this new age way of guys going up there, and they're swinging hard. You need to make good pitches, quality pitches, and if you don't have command of the fastball, you're in for a long day, and we saw that here this afternoon, a ball flying out at near record pace.
Cool, and a couple of things I want to point out on those two is, you know, not necessarily related to the commentary, but like we were seeing a lot of seeing a lot of full speed replays there. We're seeing the new ball trail, which I'm sure a lot of you know about now because of the Monday video, but definitely a good showcase of the types of presentations you're going to see there as well. So there's still slow motion, of course, and we're mixing and matching with all that type of stuff, but we really wanted it to be a little bit more engaging as far as the replays go. So we're going to show off some more of that in a little bit, but those were some good examples of some full speed replays and the ball trail and all of that.
Yeah, so that was like a little glimpse of what's in the game for storylines, both things you might hear sort of entering the game or things that might emerge over the course of a game. So expect to hear more of that kind of stuff whenever you get your hands on the final game.
And some of it's player-centric as well, right? I mean,
Sure.
we talked about the matchup, of course, but like some of it's actually, it could be a little bit more player-centric and what an individual player might be trying to achieve coming into a certain game or within a game, as like you mentioned with Scooter Jeanette, the example.
Sure,
that
yeah.
kind of thing, can happen as well.
Right, yeah, for like the road to the show players out there, obviously that mode is focused on just your guy, so we have a lot of player-oriented storylines too that will highlight perhaps your road to the show guy if you run into him.
Yeah, that's awesome. And now, so I did mention, of course, the word dynamic, and I'm going to come back to that again. Now, another feature with the commentary that we've wanted to focus on was having the ability to have some kind of a little bit of conversation or provide information about a player, maybe a little bit of background information or what have you, that is not necessarily scripted for that player. So meaning it can be dynamic, the commentary can change and dynamically for players, both real and created. So what we're calling, this is going to be called quick facts, and essentially what it does is it allows us to update you on what might be going on. We can talk about a player's career stats, or maybe where he was drafted, where he's from, all kinds of different topics. So we're going to have an example right here where we're going to be talking about a relief pitcher that just came into the game. He's just been announced. He's now thrown, he's thrown a couple pitches, and Matt and Dero are going to kind of have a little bit of a discussion about his background. So just this is the kind of information that like might be kind of fed to an announcer during a live game about a player. Like hey, here's a little bit of background on him, that kind of stuff. And of course, it's the type of like research that they do prepping for a game. So here's a good example of a reliever coming in.
First pitch coming. Here it is. There's a strike. McGee playing here in his age 31 season. He was a 5th-round pick back in the 2004 first-year player draft.
Hey, when you come out in the middle rounds, you have to grind for everything, and that's exactly what this guy has done, and he has turned himself into a solid big league ball player.
Cool. So a little quick mention right there, but it does give you some information about Jake McGee that you might not have known unless you were like digging through his player card or you were looking at his baseball reference or something like that. So that you're going to be hearing that kind of information, and of course that stuff is dynamic in your game as you play through franchise, road to the show, etc. You're going to be hearing about you can hear about where the guy might be in the All-Star race, or what his career home runs might be, and that kind of stuff. And a lot of it is timed to be relevant too. So if a guy's up in a big home run spot and he has quite a few career home runs, that's the kind of thing that we will focus on in that moment. Is hey, this guy's got 300 career home runs, so this is a good moment. This is a good guy to have at the plate, that kind of thing. So that's another good example of just how we're working on that that dynamically changing commentary. So then something I want to touch on a few things just real quick, just related to. Well, not real quick. We're going to get into some now like presentation related stuff. So we're going to go back to kind of what we were just talking about a few minutes ago, which is a lot of the replay stuff that we've gone into. Now, a lot of work went into making sure that these replays kind of replicate what you would see in a real life broadcast. And we actually did like a little field trip to
wonderful Cleveland,
Ohio. Shout out to Cleveland. We actually had a great time there, and we got to kind of shadow MLB Network and see kind of how they're building, their broadcast, and kind of got to pick their brains about a lot of things. And so out of that came a lot of information about full speed replays and their usage of that, the camera angles, and all that type of stuff. So we're gonna show you some videos here. This is going to be a sequence of a home run, and there's just several things I'm going to explain afterwards, but you're going to see a nice full-speed replay, after the guy's rounded the base, and kind of just give you an example of that.
There's a swing and a high drive into left center field. Profar looking up, and this one is gone. A home run. To left center, 4th home run for him on the season as the Yankees move out to a 3-0 lead.
the mound, he might have let up a little bit knowing the fact he was facing the 9-hitter, but you just can't do that. Goes to show there are no weaknesses in any of these lineups.
All right, so like several things to point out there. Of course, you got to see the full speed replay there. Kind of a quick zoom in onto the ball after we saw it, it kind of come off the bat from the initial shot, switched, and then had the kind of the behind home shot following the ball full speed into the stands. The full speed replay is really, we want to be able to show off the athleticism, the excitement of the plays, and something that we really need for that is to have the crowd be a part of it. When you watch a broadcast and you see a full speed replay, you hear the crack of the bat, you hear all the sound effects of the stadium and the crowd and all of that type of stuff, and so that was really important for us to incorporate that in as well. So when you see a home run like that, you get to experience that crowd reaction again. So that was kind of a big key part of it. Some other things to show off, to just note on that are presentation related, not necessarily about replays on that clip. There's a lot more camera variety that you're going to be seeing during the home run sequences. So as players are rounding the bases, something we wanted to get away from was kind of seeing the same cameras over and over. So now when the guys are rounding, you're going to see different angles just every single time. You're going to see different angles of the players coming around, and it doesn't matter what they're doing. It's going to have those different shots. So that was a big improvement that we spent a lot of time on getting those angles right. The other thing too, and this is a cool sound piece, is that you might have noticed the stadium sounds, the music, especially in Yankee Stadium, it's pretty kind of iconic type music that they play there. That is coming through a lot better. So if you're in Houston, you get the train. If you're in San Francisco, you get the foghorn. And that we've had those things, but we've really made a lot of improvements in the mixing too. Kurt Kellenberger has done a ton of work. That's one of our main sound designers. He's done a ton of work to bring that out, and that's going to really add to that atmosphere of the moment of when you hit a big home run at home.
Absolutely. So
that was another thing I just wanted to point out about that clip there. So now we're gonna. I just mentioned camera variety, so I want to jump into a few more here, and something that camera variety really helps with is show off the environments, right? Sure. We have these incredible stadiums, and that's something that's really unique about baseball, is having unique stadiums that have a lot of different features. In basketball or hockey, the arena, the structure of itself isn't really all that meaningful because the rink is the same, but in baseball there's so many unique features to every major league stadium.
Sure, yeah, and on that note, we also noticed just that our artists had built out a lot of cool areas of the stadiums that we weren't necessarily showing off as much as we could, so we really wanted to make an effort to show off like the great stadium art that's in the game. Yeah,
so Ross and I and a couple others definitely helped out to where we built a ton of new video or new cameras for the stadiums, and these are cameras that you're going to see at different times of the game. Sometimes it might be just after a pitch, kind of like in between pitches as the ball is coming back to the pitcher. Definitely a lot of new cameras for like the end of inning sequences. So as we're going to commercial, kind of doing some cool cinematic shots, and then certainly in the intros. In the intros of the game, worked in a lot of blimp cams and drone footage.
We have drone technology,
drone cameras, and all kinds of stuff that you've seen in broadcasts for years, or things that you're starting to see see more of. So
it's 2018. Get ready for drones.
So here's several videos of new stadium shots, different stadiums. So here we go.
So this would be sort of an end of inning shot.
Some of these were captured in our camera viewer, so the game's kind of paused, but we're showing the camera sequence itself. Good looking statue there in Baltimore.
Yeah, we want a nice, really detailed statues in the stadiums.
And a lot of our weather presentations have now new cameras to show off the flags and see which way they're blowing, that kind of stuff.
Blimp
camera here behind the light standards. This is in Cleveland. This is probably going to be like an intro shot or an end of inning shot.
very artistic.
Well, behind the glass footage there. Get the reflections in.
Coverage of Major League Baseball is on the air. Tonight we've got a good matchup in store between the American League's Houston Astros and the Cleveland Indians.
Hello, drone.
1, 2, 3 go the Dodgers. We'll go to the bottom of the second, no score. And now pitch on the way. Ninth inning underway now as the first pitch is taken for a cold strike.
Press box view. Top of the ninth, crowd's getting amped about the score situation. The Rotunda in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Ross's hometown.
Shout out to Pittsburgh. Won't say anything about what the Pirates are doing.
Nice reflection there on the escalators.
Yeah, we don't have McCutcheon, but we have reflections off the escalators.
CN Tower. Here going into Rogers Center. I appreciate the Pirates sending McCutcheon to my Giants. So appreciate that. Hopefully it works out. Intro shot here in San Francisco, speaking of.
Time now for baseball from 24 Willie Mays Plaza in stunning AT&T Park in San Francisco. A good matchup here for you tonight between the LA Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants.
So something I wanted to point out about that last shot, and you guys are probably picking up on a little bit, brand new theme music. And so what we did this year was we rescanned both of our the show themes. Of course, MLB Network themes still in the game. That's been improved and updated to have the latest art that MLB Network uses. But our main MLB theme has been updated, and that's been reskinned, and we're really happy with the way it came out. You saw one OSD there. We're gonna play live gameplay later with that theme, so you guys will be able to see all the different on-screen displays with that art. But that's going to be, that's an exciting thing. We're really happy with that it came out. But on top of just the visuals, we have all new theme music. So you're going to hear end of inning, intros, all that type of stuff. Completely new music for that. So you heard that there on the intro, and then of course you're going to see it again when we get into live gameplay.
And just to backtrack to cameras for half a second, there's easily like double or more than double the amount of stadium-specific cameras for like most of the stadiums now. So you're going to be seeing like a ton more stadium-specific variety than you have in the past.
So when you load into a game, and if you're somebody that plays, with the same team most of the time, you're going to load into that stadium, and you're going to see a lot more variety in the intro, for example, or during the end of inning. So you're it's going to make that each game kind of feel a little bit different, and a little fresh. So. And there's, like we said, quite a few blimp shots, something that we really never have incorporated into the game very much. So kind of getting that overhead perspective, a lot of close-up shots of, kind of the really nice materials that you'll see in the stadiums, like the one that was in Cleveland there behind the glass and everything. A lot of
those nice like reflective materials.
PBR
that look really nice.
materials that we've obviously talked about in years past. That's continued to improve, and so we're always trying to show all that stuff off for our stadium artists who do an incredible job. So. Something we're very excited about, something that there's just infinite possibilities, and something that we're going to continue to improve on, of course, year after year. But we've got a lot of content in there for new cameras, so very excited about that.
For sure.
So right now we got through the theme part of it. What I want to do is I want to bring in Mike Compton, who you guys have seen on stream before. We're going to say goodbye to Ross for now. He might come back later, but everybody say goodbye to Ross. You'll see him again. He's killing it here, and we're really happy to have him. So bring in Mike Compton.
What's up, Kirby?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good to see you guys again.
So Mike, why are you here?
Let's talk about atmosphere and crowd.
Okay, let's do that.
In dynamic weather and what we brought you this year.
Atmosphere.
Yeah, so one of the things you guys have seen already is that we did improve the rain and we brought you some fog. I just want to drop some stats on you guys about the improvements. So In the rain, we used to have 2,500 raindrops, and if you guys have played the game, you've seen they were essentially just white lines falling straight down. We had a graphics programmer this year tackle that. He did a great job. So now, instead of only this one pattern of 2,500 drops, or essentially lines, we draw anywhere from between 250 drops to up to 200,000 raindrops now in the game. We have weather patterns, so not every game is going to be exactly the same. Up until this point in MLB The Show, if you've chosen a rain game, you've seen the same thing every single time, which is you load into a game, it's raining slightly, the rain fades out towards the end of the game, and that's it. Now we have different weather patterns, so the rain can move through slowly, it can rain heavily throughout the game, it can be like a light sprinkle the whole time. So there is some dynamic content there. So I know a lot of you guys are worried that, oh, if I choose a rain game, I'm going to hit the rain delay presentation every single time. I'm going to be forced to make this decision to bring my pitcher out, you know, worried that people might take advantage of that system. You're not going to have to worry about that too much. It will be kind of rare. One of the cool things about the rain delay presentation, we're not going to show it off today, but there are different lengths of time for how long the rain delay will be, and depending on that length of time will determine the impact on whether or not you choose to leave your pitcher, starting pitcher, relief pitcher, whoever's in the game. So if it's a longer rain delay, you're going to have a bigger hit to energy and confidence. If it's a shorter rain delay, it's probably worth leaving your guy in there, especially if he's pitching well.
Absolutely. So it actually really has like a decent impact on the course of the game, and it's an unexpected thing you have to encounter throughout a game.
Yeah, it's
like real life.
There's a strategy there.
Absolutely.
And if you're playing your friend, then you're both going to have to make that decision, and it might change the outcourse of the game. But let's talk about fog, which is a really cool piece of atmosphere. It's a really cool piece of added to the game to change the atmosphere, to improve the atmosphere. Matt, if you want to bring up a couple of screenshots that we have, we're going to show you how the infamous fog in San Francisco.
Carl the Fog, they call him in San Francisco.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, Carl the Fog.
So I think we have rolling fog pictures. So this is like a very low level fog at night. If we step through these, I think you can see how the fog actually builds up over time. Go ahead and step through them, Matt. So you can see this is a little bit of a thicker, foggy atmosphere. Step through again. Or head back. Okay, so we'll show off a little bit more in a second. But okay, so here's a good shot of Pittsburgh. This is a day fog game where there's not a lot of fog sitting in the field atmosphere because that mostly happens at night. But if you step through these, watch the buildings. Keep your eye on those buildings, and you can see how the fog is actually approaching the hitter. It's approaching the stadium, and it's sending those buildings into that state where you just can't see them anymore.
Get that low-level fog a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're going to get a different experience in the day than you are at night. Here's Capitol Field. Go ahead and step through this one. Boom. So that's you can really see it in this, how it just creates a really cool atmosphere that you see in baseball games that we've never had in our game.
And it's obviously tied to seasonal expectations.
Right.
So like San Diego, if it never rains, never fog.
Right.
Well, I get fog maybe.
So the way that this is going to work for you guys, there is no fog weather mode. The way it will work is when you select an overcast game, you will have a percentage chance of getting fog based on the city that you're in. So San Francisco, coastal cities essentially will have a higher likelihood. Sure. We grabbed real weather data and we created the table structure essentially based on the data that we had. So if it's in April, you're going to have a different chance of fog than if it's in October.
Sure.
But we think it adds a really cool effect, something that we've never had before.
Okay.
So we're excited about it. Go ahead and show some of the presentation screen captures. This is what it'll look like, just a couple pictures of what it does to the presentation system. The players really pop off in front of the fog because the fog is actually behind them in the space, so you can see the crowd. You see Francisco Lindor there. I mean, it adds something really cool, and let's go ahead and take a look at it in game, and we'll just show these guys.
Cool. So yeah, you want to get in the fly cam here?
Sure.
Here we go. Get the fly cam and kind of show off some.
Alrighty. Bring up some game footage.
We're gonna show off some crowd too, right?
Yeah. We're gonna go into crowd in just 1 second. But let's go ahead. Pardon me with the.
Here, you want to go and let's go and replay so that it doesn't get into an idle scene here.
Well, we gotta leave it in here just to do the.
Oh right, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna bump up the fog and we're gonna take a look at it. We'll get off these guys for 1 second. Pardon my fly camming skills. So we're in Chicago. This is a look at Centerfield in Chicago from behind home plate. This is a low-level foggy atmosphere. Let's go ahead and bump that up and see what happens. So if we were in a steady beat weather pattern, which is one of the 5 weather patterns that we have in the game, you would see it kind of cycle in between these levels here, between essentially 0 and 0.5, which causes this. But if we're in a heavier fog system, you'll actually see these buildings completely disappear. Wow. And now you get this really heavy atmosphere. This is as heavy as you'll get. We've made it so that it doesn't affect gameplay too much in terms of actually trying to catch the ball, in terms of trying to pitch and hit. It's not going to get in the way. This is more of just an atmospheric element. So let's crank it back to 0.5. Take a look at it. This is pretty comfortable. Go ahead and press X on that one so everything comes back into
get that
depth
video. Of field off there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's some of our weather improvements. But with atmosphere this year, we took a big step with improving the crowd. And this includes a new base layer of sound design. It includes real-time props. Crowd actors now have hands and fingers. I don't know if you guys have noticed this while playing our game in the past, but things would basically just attach to their wrists, and they would kind of do things like this without actually having anything to hold on to.
Jazz hands.
So you can see like this lady here. Oh, she's got her phone out. So we do have real-time props, phones and cups. This guy's got his soda, we'll call it. And so with real-time props, the other thing that we wanted to change was the reaction logic. How does the crowd react to in-game events? Something that we noticed for a long time that we just never made steps on improving is just the outlandish behavior in small moments. So you would strike a guy out in the top of the 2nd inning, and the crowd would be reacting as if the game that just walked off the game.
Something that's kind of like it's kind of plagued us for a few years, and we've known about it. Like it's a challenge to get it, but we've really taken a lot of strides there this year. Huh?
We have taken a lot of strides there. We revamped the crowd reaction logic for basically everything: ball hit anticipation, strikeouts, base result outs, catch flies, home runs, pre-pitch anticipation, and we doubled the crowd animation database. So what we have to work with is also doubled.
Sure. What about, no, keep going. I'm going to ask a question after a second.
Sure. I'd like to show off an example of how it's different on home runs.
Sure.
And what we'll do is we're going to hit a ball. We're going to hit 2 deep fly balls. On the first deep fly ball, we'll have the guy, hopefully if we can get the auto hit right, we'll have the guy catch it on the warning track, and we'll see how the crowd reacts to that. The second ball we'll hit, we'll have go over the fence for a home run, and we'll see how they react to that. And what you'll notice is that instead of reacting immediately off the bat and kind of telegraphing what's going to happen in the play, the crowd is going to stand up in anticipation. They're not going to react fully until the ball is either caught, lands in the outfield, or lands for a home run.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. Baseball fans going to games, you see something happen, you kind of get out of your seat for a second, see what happens. It's not easy to know. You don't know what's happening. Even when a guy crushes one, it's like you don't know for sure it's going out unless it's a complete bomb. So, that's kind of simulating that atmosphere and that the realism there.
Exactly. What we would do in the past is as soon as the ball was hit, basically you'd have a very short period of time, and then the crowd would just be going crazy. Yeah, and of course, that doesn't even include the second out ground ball where the crowd reacts like crazy. So let's see what happens here. Let's see if we can get it right. No promises on this part.
You can turn it,
yeah. All right, let's turn fly cam off. There we are. Grab that.
Got it.
Go ahead and switch teams here.
Oh, you're gonna hit it?
Yeah,
you're not gonna throw it?
Nah, I'd rather hit it.
Give it up?
I don't want to give it up. I'd much rather hit it.
I'm better at giving them up.
Well, that's what you've been known for, right?
Well, he's a pitcher, so yeah.
All right, so this is the home team. Let's see what happens here. So keep your eyes on the crowd. They should stand up in anticipation and then react accordingly. But we do have to hit the ball, of course. That's the first. I said I like to hit them. I didn't say I was good at it.
Begin the trolling now.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so crowd stands up in anticipation. And
come on.
So that one's off the wall, and they react pretty appropriately. Not as much as they would if it was a home run.
Go and replay and show that, because we kind of lost it, of course, because of the tips.
Well, let's see if we get it on the full speed. Oh, not quite full speed. And we'll let this play because it looks good. Let's take a look in the replay. Lock onto the ball here. So see the crowd stand up here. Watch them, they're not reacting yet. They're just standing in anticipation. See that? The ball is gonna hit off the wall, and we gotta bounce off these guys. And now the crowd reacts. So that's a big difference. That's a huge difference in the way that the behavior changed.
And then that reaction right there would have been different. I mean, had the ball gone out, they probably would have been even more animated, more excited.
Right. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and hit one out.
Something I really appreciate just playing the game is, you know, when you're pitching or when you're looking at the crowd and, you know, and in between plays is they're not you know, kind of doing their like standing up and flailing around, and they're a little bit more still in the moments when you would expect them to be still because they're watching the game.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a baseball game. They're not.
The fact is,
they're not reacting to every little thing, but then when something is exciting, then you see that, you see that in, you know, as you're playing and stuff. So that's
part of the downfall in the old system was that you never really felt this big boost in big moments because we were always at a big moment level. Yeah. We were never getting you there. You were always just there. So now here's Chris Bryant taking one deep, and if you watch him, boom! Now look at him go. Can't see much, but you should be able to see him on the home run presentation. We'll watch this.
You can a little updated MLB Network stuff there. You got the Cubs. There's a on-field camera there for the guy coming home. Again, camera variety we were mentioning earlier with the home run scenes. Show track, that was a feature last year, of course. But
the new ball trail.
Yep, the new ball trail improvements.
Of course, I hit it with auto hit, so it's all one color.
Right. But yeah, so you know, there's just some good examples there of some of the smaller little things, improvements on the presentation side there.
Now let's see what happens if we don't hit the ball off the wall or hit it out. Let's see what happens if that fielder makes the play. Hopefully he'll make the play.
Now here's the pitch.
So deep fly ball by Rizzo. He heads back, crowd stands up, and a disappointed reaction. So I don't know if you guys can catch that. Yeah. We'll do a replay on that.
We'll do a replay, but you can definitely see some guys kind of like, oh, you know, just you think it's going to be the coolest moment ever, and then it's just ripped right out of your hands.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what would happen. You know, you stand up because you're excited, you think he has a chance.
And Matt, you know, and you can hear Matt, you know, doing the same thing there. You know, he was like another one driven to the gap. You're not listening, but another one driven deep, you know, to the warning track, and then it was caught. You know, it's kind of building that anticipation as well.
Keep your eyes there. Crowd standing. Let's break off here. Zoom out a little bit. Ball is caught. And home team fans are disdisappointed. Away fans are excited. Oh yeah, shoot. Let's sit down. That's not what we expected.
There's a Mets fan in the front.
Couple Mets fans are
still standing.
They're
wearing it in the bleachers. I don't know, it's not where I'd be sitting if I was a Mets fan right there. I don't know. You know, just wearing it.
Yeah. So the quick summary there is that crowd reaction has been vastly improved. It's way more realistic. You're going to get a much better sense of hyping a real moment when it's important.
Absolutely.
Something I didn't mention is head IK is now in the crowds. So the crowd will follow the ball when it's in the air or in play. If there is a runner coming around third base or heading home, then the crowd will watch the runner.
They're watching that play that could be at home there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I think we got to get to the
Yeah,
giveaway.
time for the giveaway.
The one, you know,
almost.
Yep. Can't miss out on this.
Bring it back, Ramon.
I've got my hopes up this time. I think.
Keep going. Y'all got 2 minutes. Keep talking.
You got 2 minutes?
I think I got
2 minutes.
What should we do? Should we just play a little bit?
All right. Well, here I was going to ask you a question actually a little bit about
throw some pitches. Sure.
Something we didn't touch too much on is the attendance logic too, and I know that's something that's really changed a lot this year as far as, you know, how it changed dynamically. They haven't used that word too many times today, but throughout a game, but also throughout a season. And just you can go ahead and touch on some of that.
Yeah, so we took real life data on attendance by stadium by day of week. So you're going to get, we've never done this before, you're going to get different attendance logic depending on what stadium you're in, what the matchup is, right? Are you with a rival? Is it first place versus fifth place? Are you
interleague
two first
game, that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
right?
so if you're the Cubs, well, there's a couple special stadiums.
Okay.
Right.
Right,
Wrigley, Fenway, certain stadiums that just sell out. It doesn't matter what the team is really doing.
Sure.
But if you're a low to mid-level market team and you're used to seeing 50 to 60% attendance, and you guys are having a great year, and it's a first place matchup late in the season,
get that boost.
get that boost.
hype.
That stadium's going to get filled up.
Cool.
And if you're struggling and you're usually a high market team, you're not going to get that. Like you're going to see your fans dissipate. In a game, we change it based on weather systems. Rain delays, I did catch you guys. We will have the crowd dissipate after a rain delay. It won't be the same.
We'll stop you right there.
Yeah,
All right, we gotta do the giveaway.
The important
keyword.
What you're really here for.
The keyword is Derosa. Put it in the stream one time. Derosa. What are we giving away?
DEROSA.
ROSA. One word.
It's Italian.
Put it in one time for the giveaway. What are we giving away? 2 digital deluxe
And
editions
yes,
of the
very
game,
Italian.
which you cannot
In a very good
preload.
way.
2 vouchers for 67,500 stubs, and 6 standard pack vouchers with 10 standard packs.
Can I get
Times
some of
6.
Get that
so
in,
you
yeah.
guys got 10 minutes to put in the word Derosa for the sweepstakes. I'm gonna shut up. Keep going.
that? Dad, if you're watching at home, put it in.
Yeah, Mom. We need that. We need those stubs.
Not that you have any better chances. Just making that clear. You don't have any better chance.
Yeah, so that kind of wraps up crowd and attendance logic and summary and atmosphere, and we made some big steps, and we think you guys will like it.
Cool. See you later,
Ramon.
Ramon. Ramon did his job again. All right, we got another guy. We have another developer you guys are used to seeing coming onto the couch right now. So you're gonna hang out.
I'll hang out.
All right.
I'll help.
Be there.
I'm gonna switch spots
scoot
with you
over.
so that Kyle can get in here.
Scoot over a bit.
Bringing in Kyle Saul. A lot of you are probably very familiar with him. Kyle, game designer / producer, mocap, actor, many hats here.
Many hats.
Many
we
hats.
all wear many hats here.
As
man,
D-Ro
I
likes to say, jack of all trades, master
Master
of none.
Master of none.
Okay, cool.
Well, there it is. Yeah, so I'm here to talk a little bit about situational awareness, player personality, the emotion stuff that we've been working on. It's as fun to get in the game to motion capture, as Kirby will attest to, and you might see a little bit later, as it is to see in the game. As you know, we've had these, situational awareness stuff for big moments already. Strikeouts for pitchers. The batter, if he strikes out, gets a big hit, it gets excited, he's on base. He shows how excited he is. And so what we did is we not only expanded on those categories, is we added new players. So you're going to now see managers get chirp at the umpires. You're going to see players, the real subtle things players do, which is something that we really, really, really wanted to highlight. Showing outs to each other.
Like the
catcher
behind the plate, kind of
stuff.
encouraging his pitcher on. Hey, nice pitch right there, or let's go, kind of tapping the glove.
Exactly.
A lot of stuff like that. I think the cool thing about this year is, emotion we've worked on emotion in the past, and we've definitely
Absolutely.
improved that this year. Baseball is becoming a much more emotional sport these days.
Oh, yeah,
a lot
for
more
sure.
flamboyant with, so we're capturing that. But like you're touching on, the situational stuff, the little subtleties of what you might see players do in those little moments, that's something we really, like you said.
and I think one of the coolest things is, at least when I'm playing the game, is we don't always draw a lot of attention to these animations, but you're going to see them in the background, the camera cuts. You're going to notice players giving outs to each other. You're going to notice the catcher recognizing that the pitcher hit a great spot, down and in. Or maybe the pitcher's struggling, you're throwing a lot of balls, you gave up a lot of runs in an inning. He's going to stand up, calm you down. And, not only is this kind of like a little signal to the pitcher in the game, but it's like a little bit of a signal to you guys as users, like, hey, just take a deep breath, hit your spot, you're going to be fine. And those little subtleties are really, really cool to see, and as like a former player, it's awesome to get these things in the game. It feels very real, and it feels really organic in like the experience that you'll have. So Matt's gonna play a few video clips for you guys. So this is like a really good example of, the catcher pitcher hits a spot, gets a big strikeout in a big situation, maybe late in the game, tight game, and he's gonna be really excited and let you know, hey, phenomenal job you did there.
And not only that, of course, you got to see the batter there, and you can see his face. One thing I want to touch on real fast, and we'll keep these videos going, is our head rig, our facial rig has really gotten a lot of improvements. So you really, like the emotions that you're seeing on the faces come through really, really nicely. And we did a lot of work with head-mounted cameras in the motion capture studio, you and I in there doing a lot of that kind of stuff, which was a lot of fun to do that.
It's a lot of fun.
And also just coming up with different ideas of like from our own playing days of like, oh yeah, I would do this, or like teammates that would do this and that kind of stuff, and of course real players we see. So keep going, but just wanted to touch on that.
And this is a fastball that's right on the black, but ruled a ball.
Settling him down there a little bit.
Yeah, just calming him down.
Big moment. I mean, you can see there, second and third, one out. He's falling behind there. It's kind of like, hey, just settle in a little bit. Rocky's got a big lead, and it's kind of one of those moments like catcher's like trying to help his teammate through the game there.
Relax, Dodgers fans aren't even here yet. It's only the third.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not a big fan of this crowd logic that you put in. Dodgers fans aren't showing up till the third inning. I don't know what that's about. We're there in the first inning every time.
We're just following.
We get there in the first and we leave in the ninth. I don't know what this is.
Hey, you know what? Playoff game, they'll be there. Don't worry.
Playoff game, I'm there 2 hours early.
First pitch.
You are.
Right over the middle, knee high.
See, here's an example. Hits a spot down. Tying run on base, just letting them know, hey, good job, you hit your spot, stuff like that. And these are the subtleties that, it's just kind of happening in the background that you'll notice. It's not something that we always call attention to. Sometimes we will, sometimes we won't, but it's there for you.
Is this Puig striking out here?
Yeah.
Striking out, looking.
Grab some behind.
I don't like this. I don't like this call.
I don't like it.
I don't like this call.
So,
get out of here, bat. I'm not happy.
Yeah. So this is an example of a situation where it's more of a player-specific type of thing. These are the kind of guys that wear their emotions on their sleeve. They're in every pitch. Every pitch is like, the most important pitch to them. And if something bad happens, you're going to know about it. Or if something good happens, you're going to know about it. In this example, Puig struck out. It's probably a late in the game situation, pretty close, and he's obviously not happy about it. And so he throws the bat, breaks the bat.
Some of the most exciting players in the game today are some of the most emotional, and they're the ones that are like every day they're there to play. They're there to win, and you kind of see that coming through on some of the players in the game. And they're
we'll probably, I think we'll see it maybe a little bit later, but like the way his face looks, the animation's awesome.
You want to score, you got to have to bunch some hits together, and they haven't been able to do that so far. So hopefully this leadoff guy, this would be the right guy at the right spot to get something going.
You froze him on the fastball there. Ryan.
So it's not he's not like a super intense emotional player, but when the moment strikes, he gets really excited. And something I should also mention is that there's intelligence to this type of emotional situational awareness. You're not going to see the same animations in the first through third innings as you would in the fourth through sixth, as you would in through the seventh through ninth. And it's all very dynamic depending on the score differential, innings, and so it's really important to just take note of that type of stuff.
The 2-2. Is a swing and a miss. That's strike three.
People always talk
just
about
another example of a new strikeout captured.
Now the 1-2 pitch. And he strikes him out here for route number 3. So after the scoreless top half, they'll have a chance to win.
I captured one of them. You captured one of them.
So here is perfect. We get like a really great end of inning emotion. He's obviously very upset, trying to break the bat a little bit over his thigh, and then like one of the really cool new end of inning camera cuts that Ross and Kirby have been working on.
And that was it was a big moment there. It was the 10th inning, late in the game. He's trying to do some, probably trying to lose that ball and give them the lead there in extra innings. But it's one of those big moment. This one right here, just to set it up, Grandal is batting. Again, late in the game, they're down by one, tying run on second. Also, Grandal had struck out, I think, 2 times leading up to this. So you see, kind of hear what's going on.
1-1 is a cutter that misses 2-1.
This is different.
I don't know why in the world anybody would want to be an umpire. That manager has given this umpire an earful on a pitch that he thought was a strike, and he's certainly trying to defend his pitcher.
So yeah, this is that's a late in the game scenario. Obviously, the manager wants that pitch, pitcher want that pitch, and he's upset. Those like close borderline pitches, obviously they think it's a strike, and so in those types of situations, you can expect that you might see the manager chirping a little bit at the umpire, letting him know we need that call.
First pitch of the at bat. A ball and no strikes.
After watching that one go by and a ball being called, you could rest assured he knows he's not getting away with another one of those. I guarantee you
Ramon just let us know sweepstakes are going out right now. Vic, shout out to Vic. They're going out right now, so you can expect, hopefully, it's unfortunate everybody can't be a winner, but for those that win, congratulations. So do not enter the keyword anymore. No need to worry about that. And so for this example right here, so we try to capture every animation possible when we do these situationals with the head rig. Sometimes it's not possible, but what Kirby and I were able to do is wear those rigs and create a bank of different types of emotions: happy, sad, angry, pissed off at somebody else, pissed off at yourself. Exactly. And so we can add these types of facial emotions to animations that we already have. So this is an example of an animation where a pitcher thought he should have got a strike, and we didn't have any emotion on this previous, but since we captured these, we can add these on, and it really adds life and personality to these situations.
Right. Borderline pitch there that Gray wanted, and wasn't too happy he didn't get the call for. You got another one?
We already played it. No, we played it.
Next. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, again, good examples there. That you're going to be seeing this a lot. I mean, like we said, baseball is getting more emotional. We certainly don't want to go overboard with it. Baseball is baseball, but at the same time, something we really, really put a lot of big emphasis into. And we're excited with the results.
Yeah.
And again, it's similar to the way we talked about cameras earlier. Like the possibilities are limitless. We can continue to
Absolutely
add all kinds of different things, get more and more player specific about things, and so something I think you guys are really going to enjoy. So I think it's good time now to jump into some gameplay. I know everybody always loves to see live gameplay. We love it too. So we're going to jump into.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we actually.
But first.
Hold on.
But first.
Actually, sorry.
You tried to skip it.
But no.
No, this is the best part.
You can't skip this, guys.
They're going to make it seem as though I'm trying to skip this part.
No, he wants to skip this part
Well,
because this is probably. So I've mocapped for 5 years, and by far this is the #1 highlight blooper reel that I've ever seen.
This is as real behind the scenes video game
100%
sports video
real.
game making as it gets. Both of these clips.
Roll that footage.
Roll
that footage. Let it
Both of these
go.
clips are purely unintentional.
Oh my goodness.
And you can listen in as well.
Oh yeah, you about to get memes. And oh my goodness.
Listen to Kyle.
I want that playback right away. I feel bad that I didn't even check if he was hurt, but it was so good that I just wanted to play it again. We didn't mocap for 15 minutes after that because we couldn't stop laughing.
No scoped.
I went on.
But hey, to Kirby's credit, he got up and then went right back to it.
And if you've noticed, if you're paying really close attention, that animation has been in some trailers that have come out. We got it right.
Trey Turner, yeah.
Yeah, the Trey Turner shot. We got it right.
Ooh.
All right. And this was also unintentional. So
this is when you do a lot of bicep curls, chest workout.
I don't know.
This is when you don't know your own strength.
Yeah. Whoops.
Uh-oh.
I mean, come on. It's like
Walk off.
bat's just hanging up in our office now as a souvenir.
That bat has been our mocap bat for
Oh my gosh.
Too long.
At
12
least,
years?
At least 10, 12 years.
Longer than you and I have been here.
Longer than we've been here, absolutely.
And I broke it.
Oh my gosh.
But we did tape it.
Yeah,
and used it for the rest of the session.
Kept
And
it going.
then the last shot of the day, I snapped it
you
over my
broke
knee.
it again. I mean, you had to.
On purpose, though.
Of course. I mean,
But yeah, that was
why not?
unintentional. I was trying to hold up at the last second, but just the forearm strength, just like, there was the bat speed.
Oh yeah, hashtag humble brag.
Yeah, humble brag.
I'm too strong.
Right. Anyways, we have a lot of fun capturing this stuff, and it comes out really cool in the game. It's fun to do it, and so just wanted to show you some behind the scenes there. All right, now we're going to jump into live gameplay. Sorry I teased you on that before, but hopefully you enjoyed the behind the scenes shot there.
It was worth it.
So yeah, hopefully. So we're going to jump into some live gameplay. Yeah, so we are in season here. This is you have the controller?
There you go.
Here? Okay.
Go ahead. It's all you.
We're in a franchise mode here. I'm not going to show you franchise mode. That's a later stream, but we're in season in franchise mode, kind of mid-season, divisional rival here. Astros at home, so we're going to jump into a game. What uniform should we use? Kind of like these.
You like those orange?
You don't like them? Oh, these are pretty solid.
Honestly, I can't. It just hurts every time I have to see that logo.
Just want to go classic here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go classic.
All right.
Respect the game a
Kyle's
little bit.
basic. It's all right.
Basic. Avo toast.
All right, so broadcast and show off presentation for sure. I mean, sometimes when we're showing gameplay, we obviously are talking over it a lot. I'm going to try to let it breathe. I'll comment on things as we go, just to point things out. But I'm going to try to, let it breathe. Theme 2. This is going to be our Major League theme. You guys have seen MLB Network, but this is the new theme music, new OSTs, all that type of stuff. And let's do. I'm gonna do partly cloudy just because we showed off and we got the roof open, so we're just kind of show off some different weather here. Francis Martes, okay. Mike Minor.
That's very interesting.
All right,
we're doing it.
Wow, he's rolling with him.
Oh, wow.
You're going. You're going with them.
What? Fred was rolling with him?
Ooh, just throw Keuchel.
Yeah, no. I'm not going Keuchel, no.
Wow.
Yeah, why not? Let's see some offense here.
Okay.
How many times have we done a stream where it was like 1-0 game?
Well, I expect some offense with those ERAs right there.
Yeah.
I know I'm not.
A little Minor versus Martes matchup.
A little behind the scenes commentary. We're good. All right, so here we go. Jumping in.
Who's hot? I think that's a new loading screen.
Yeah, new loading screen here. Yeah. I mean, well, no. This has been in for a little while.
It's a new look.
But we do have several new loading screens, not just for the storylines that we showed off earlier. We do have a lot of new loading screens, and of course, an all new look, definitely.
I think one of my favorite things is I'm a franchise guy that.
Yeah. The reason why Ted Williams is on the Houston.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he's not in the lineup right now, is he?
Yeah, but the loading screen.
He was there.
He was in the loading screen.
Oh yeah, okay. So Ted Williams was in the loading screen there. We put him on the Astros on purpose because we're going to show something off towards the end of this here, but you hear this music. Turn off show batting info. Yeah.
One of baseball's hardest throwers goes head to head with a top finesse arm. Next, Francis Martes beyond the mound for the series opener.
So something that I was going to mention real quick before the whole Teddy Ball game happened was that I love the whole storyline quick facts thing because I'm a franchise guy that doesn't play a lot of. I don't play every game. I like to sim a little bit and play, and it's really cool because you can sim to a middle of the series, and you're going to get so much context if you're playing the first, second, or third game. Any game, you're going to know how your team's been doing, who's hot, who's not. And the stuff that Ross and Kirby have added this year have really added to the depth of the mode.
And just for context's sake, we are in a late July franchise game?
I think it's late July, maybe early August. Okay. Mid-season, after the All-Star break. Yeah. Let me set up my settings here real quick.
Ooh. He normally plays on rookie, but he's putting All-Star because it's a stream.
Yeah, okay. Throw canceling on. What was the burn?
What was the burn?
What was the burn? I got burned? What did I get burned on? Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's like an obvious joke, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
set it up.
All right.
Around in this one.
Here we go. All right, so we'll let the game breathe a little here.
First pitch of the at-bat on its way. First of three here on a Friday night as the first pitch is in there for strike one.
Giveaway is
Giveaways
over.
are done.
Giveaways are complete. Congrats to the
Gotta
winners.
be considered one of, if not the hottest team in baseball right now. Winners of 8 of their last 10 ball games.
Yeah, Matty, taking a look at the standings right here, this team has a nice lead, comfortable.
God, we have extra headphones over here?
Look in your seat.
Got the advantage.
Oh, you know what? One of them
Do you not have them? Here, you take them.
Totally kill you in the standings, and this team's sitting pretty right now.
The windup and the 0-2 pitch. Oh, and a nice changeup that time gets him to swing right through it as the leadoff man is down on strikes to open up the ball game. A chance now to look at the batting order for the visiting Rangers. Danny, who stands out to you?
Well, I'm always excited when I get to see Adrian Beltre do his thing. He's one of the best hitters to ever play the game. We're talking about a guy with 3,000 hits, a Hall of Fame pedigree that doesn't come around too often. You better appreciate it while you have the chance to.
Something I think worth mentioning there is that we're able now this year to highlight the same guy that we're talking about in the starting lineup introduction. That's new.
Putting the highlight on him, got the mug shot. Also the notable on the bottom of the OSD there, you get, and that's dynamically changing. Might be showing last month's stat, might be showing recent game stats, career stats, all that type of stuff. So that's again dynamic. Sorry I keep saying that, but
no, it's a good word.
There we go.
Now here's the pitch. And it's the outside corner. It's strike one. And our game time temperature this evening, a nice 74 degrees. Here it comes now to Andrus. Changeup gets him out in front for strike two.
Really deceptive changeup there. Very well executed. It looks like it just sort of dies when it gets close to the plate.
Example of the ball trail there. Also, you saw some new replay swipes on that one right there with the logo and the team helmet.
Oh, see some new. No. Thought we might get a new catcher animation, but we didn't need it.
Mostly on like wild pitches where the guys like stealing second and stuff. Yeah.
Here's the third baseman, Adrian Beltre. And as you take a look at the splits here, he's actually better against right-handed pitching this season. Ready with the first pitch. Here it comes. Thought he had the inside corner that time, but it missed for ball one. Time to take a look at the umpires in this one. Behind the plate is Mike Fillmore.
Hey, Dero, Mike Fillmore, one of the most consistent umpires throughout the league. Both pitchers and position players love this guy.
Yeah, I think one of the best in the business. How I judge a good teammate is every day he opens that door. Is he consistent? Can I count on him? Mike Fillmore is the exact same way behind the dish.
And he'll look at a fastball here that's close, but it's 2-1 now.
A little discussion about the umpires
blame
there.
him for not coming over the hard of the plate. He circled this guy on the lineup card when he got to the yard today. He's been swinging one of the hotter bats in the game.
Now the 2-1 pitch. It's in there for strike number 2.
We haven't touched a lot on some improvements to play-by-play, so I'll be doing that throughout this game. Something you just heard right there, you heard a pitch setup where he was saying, the 2-1 pitch, and then the result is on the outside corner for strike 2. Something we really tried to improve this year was the pitch sequence, and Mike does a lot of the logic there, and of course do a lot of the recording and writing and everything. We work together on that a lot, and something that you're going to hear a lot of improvements to are the pitch sequence, the calling of the pitches before the pitch, and that includes off the bat.
He's not hitting over 300 by luck.
Base hits.
Could be, right, exactly.
Simple grounders, bunts, fly balls.
So it could be like the 2-1 pitch is swung on, hit really well to left field, that kind of thing. So, a little bit more, sequential in that sense.
Yeah, everything for a long time has been pieces, right? Pieces that work together, but they were not designed together, right? So one of the big goals this year was, okay, let's, from the start of the play to the end of the play, have it designed to flow together to work optimally, to sound as good as it can.
Absolutely.
And it sounds a lot better.
Yeah, it's really
Mike Minor gets the call for game 1 of the series. Dan Plesac, what do you got?
Hey, one of the things this guy does really well, neutralize the left-handed hitters. On the season, lefties are hitting under 250 against this guy, so whatever he's doing against lefties, it certainly works.
Here comes the second baseman, Jose Altuve, to get things kicked off in the home half of inning number 1.
291 average. Would that be considered a down year for Altuve? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
that's a
pretty
down
solid
year.
numbers there, but like
Down
maybe
year
a
for
down year for
Altuve
Altuve.
in
Like,
July.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Because the guy's ridiculous.
First pitch of the at-bat. Fouled away. And fellas, you take a look at this Rangers team entering play here tonight. They've been playing better than .500 baseball of late, 5-3 in their last 8 games. Grounded down the third baseline, but this will get foul for strike 2.
Who's that? Reels, your question, any changes to the playoff crowds? There have been changes to the playoff crowds. The same changes that were made to the regular season crowds, you'll see. So you're going to get a lot better reaction logic. One thing that you're going to love is rally towels and thunder sticks no longer attached at the wrist. You're not going to have this random rally towel movement. The guys are actually grabbing the towels. Maybe we can show that off another time.
Give us what you have on this lineup as they start a new series.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, going into this, looking at both lineups, they're both hot right now and they can both swing the bats. We probably got a slugfest on our hands. What pitcher's going to make the big pitch? A big spot, execute something to get his team off the field. Otherwise, probably a team with the last at bats.
Couple things that are cool right there is in this case we saw the starting lineup and they were talking about the lineup as a whole, so there was no highlight on the player and we were showing the team stats. So they were second in the American League in hits, so you can see that on the bottom there. So there is a little difference there in terms of, sometimes we're talking about the team, sometimes we're talking about the individual player. So a little bit of a interesting state there.
Reddick waiting, and now the pitch. And there's a pitch that just misses the inside corner. Minor's ready. 1-0 on its way.
Oh,
lifted into the air out towards center
Same
field.
pitch.
Andrews is there, and he brings it in for the second out of the inning.
That's exactly what they wanted out of that pitch up in the zone. They took him up the ladder, and he couldn't get up to it. So that was an easy pop-out. Well-executed pitch there.
Just to answer a couple questions that I'm seeing about crowd audio, Kurt Kellenberger, our sound designer, went out to Arizona. We established a working partnership with them that allowed us to go and record crowd directly. So we went and did 8 games, including the wild card game. We created a whole new base layer of sound design. The reactions are still being worked on. It'll be a work in progress, but the base layer itself has been revamped, and that alone is a huge step up.
It's really noticeable.
And just knowing that we'll have a working relationship going forward. We met with some really great guys, Joe Carpenter, David Grundvig, and Fred Dominique. They're some really well-established audio engineers in the business, and they gave us some great tips on how we can improve going forward. So you will see more audio improvements moving forward, but for this year, a whole new base layer, 8 games worth of content for us to work with moving forward. So
you can hear like a lot more fidelity, like a lot more like individual little sounds, individual voices in that crowd level. You can hear some more of the soundtrack.
And this is still a 0-0 ball game. Next to bat will be the Texas cleanup hitter, Joey Gallo.
First baseman, Joey Gallo.
One thing I meant to mention earlier, but I'll do it now,
Ready to deliver.
is because we have, because we put an emphasis and continue to do so going forward on the conversational.
One of the game's big-time flamethrowers faces a top craftsman here today.
And you're going to see 2 different mindsets from both offenses, Dan. Facing the power guy, he's going to come at you. He's going to pitch to his strengths and not your weakness. And on the flip side, the finesse guy is going to try and keep everyone off balance. And I want to see what off-speed pitch he has working.
Dero, that's one of the
did you? Swing, and he sends a ball high in the air into left field. Gone as it's into the Crawford boxes.
Tag Stadium feature there.
Absolutely.
Got a pretty cool one in. Leaves the yard with a solo shot, and even 20 home runs for him now thus far. As the Rangers strike first, it's 1-0.
lot more locations this year that we tagged.
So we finished tagging all major league stadiums this year. We only made it through about 60% of them last year. I think the coolest thing is the $1 million can in Anaheim. You hit it in the $1 million can, you might hear something about it.
Right. Yeah. So what you heard right before that home run happened was, of course, they had started talking. They were picking up, about, sort of a little bit of a storyline, the matchup of the pitchers in this one, and so they were talking about that, kind of having their conversation, and of course, Gallo goes oppo taco on it, and which Gallo has plenty of power, and Crawford boxes are short, but they were able to cut off and then let Matt make his call there.
In now the power hitting outfielder Nomar Mazara. As the first pitch to him is a changeup that can't find the zone. It's ball
Which is
one.
so fitting, right? They're talking about
right
the pitchers and the matchup, and then, of course, right as they're talking about a guy gets taken deep.
It's always a jinx, right?
Right.
It happens every time.
Yeah.
Pitch on the way.
Oh.
Sinker stays outside and is behind now 2-0.
Boy, he just looks locked in at the plate right now to me. His numbers in recent games have been very good, and those were two stone-cold takes right there that put himself in a great hitter's count.
And a sinker is over that time. It's back to 2-1.
Here's a little, one of the new shots in Houston.
Looking great.
Again, a bunch of new ones. You can kind of get the skyline there. It looks really cool too when the roof's closed. Same, it's different, but it's the same shot.
2-1 home. Altuve at second, backhanded. Throw on to first, so a good
what I was saying before the storyline content had started.
Time for a look at the
Okay, I'll let this play too.
And guys, the things I want you to focus on today, one of them being this manager loves to shift. He has the pitching staff to trust to be able to manipulate his defense to try and get as many outs and play the numbers as much as he can.
What I was going to say was we put an emphasis too on, as far as the play-by-play goes with Matt, is not necessarily commenting on every little thing. I think when we kind of listening and playing to the game, of course, we sort of felt like maybe Matt was commenting on every little thing. So something we wanted to emphasize was shorter calls, more to the point, but also if a guy just if a guy rolls a foul ball, just rolls over a foul ball, and it was completely insignificant. There wasn't any ever doubt. Stuff like that can be, can be let go. We don't have to comment on every single time. So just kind of trying to, trim down that a little bit.
Trim the fat.
Behind 0-2 now.
Say that. We've had Matt in the game for a long time, and so we have a lot of content. So of course it's important for us to, to make sure that content is, fits well into the game, and that we're not overdoing it, kind of thing. For sure.
And he'll try and tempt him with one in the dirt, but he'll hold back here. It's 1-2.
Tried to get him to chase that 0-2 curveball there, but he wasn't biting.
Another thing,
very well could see it again here, though.
As far as when we were talking about, the situational awareness and the emotion. This isn't really a situational type thing, but as far as the players' faces and the way that their faces are animating, in the past, we've had kind of pretty consistent ones where they're look like they're chewing gum, or kind of just moving their mouth slightly. We have a whole bunch of new idle animations on the players' faces. So sometimes you'll see them kind of crinkle their nose, or take a deep breath, or do it. There's a whole big new bank of those animations that we captured when we were doing the emotional stuff as well. And so you really notice that too when they're just kind of standing on base or whatever they might be doing. You'll really notice that as well. Especially on the close-up shots in between pitches and whatnot.
I'm set with the 0-1.
Oh boy.
Another one fouled off, and he's quickly
not a great pitch, looking for a double play.
The 0-2 delivery changes up on him, but that's in the dirt for a ball.
Good job by the catcher to keep the ball from getting too far away and allowing that base runner to get into scoring position. That keeps the double play in order, which they need, seeing as they've already given up one run in this inning.
Odor leads off first with one away. Oh, and this is swung on and missed. 4 strikeouts already, and that's out number 2.
The stinky cheese.
Fastball there.
It's just like,
and
give
you
me the
see a
ball.
lot of
Give
that
me the
pitch in strikeout situations these days. What makes it so effective?
I think, Matt,
good
what
shot
makes
of
it
the,
such a tough pitch
little
is you're
trail there.
changing eye levels. That fastball up looks so enticing to hit that you see that ball as a hitter, you think you can drive it, but it's really hard to get on top of that good, high, hard fastball.
Up next for the Rangers, Robinson Chirinos. And as you check out his righty-lefty split,
Oh,
no
see
surprise
ya.
that he hits better against southpaws than he does against right-handers.
Not with the new tax system. You go.
But the Rangers are in the run column first on the strength of this solo home run. We'll go to the bottom of the second. It's now 1-0 Texas.
It's a wall scraper. Give it to him.
But
So here's the Astros cleanup hitter, George Springer. We take a look there at the difference in his numbers between June and July.
so Robinson, Chirinos is just going all out. No catchers, no chest protector.
Really? See what he's doing right now?
We're just kidding, guys. It's an obvious bug. It's fixed.
Yeah,
Don't even worry about it. Yeah, we're not gonna ship the game with
final,
no chest protector.
We went final last night, so deal with it.
Yeah, we're just like, hey, he doesn't even want it. He's like, guys, I don't need it.
Rangers on D.
I don't even want to wear a
Let's
mask.
focus our attention at the guy who plays one of the premier positions in the game, and that's Elvis Andrus. Listen, when I watch this guy, I can't help but think Omar Vizquel. Came into the league, was all
This is regular PS4, not
figuring it
PS4
out
Pro.
at the plate, and has consistently gotten better offensively while never losing a step with the glove.
Striding in for Houston,
Or it might be
Alex
PS4
Bregman.
Pro.
First at bat for him as he enters play third in the American
Stay hot,
League
Mike.
batting race.
Getting conflicting
pitch of the
info
at-bat
through the
on its
headset.
Fastball misses in the dirt as he tried to get him to chase.
Kind of
the
a cool
ball.
piece there from D-Road, spotlighting Elvis Andrus during the defensive alignment thing. He was.
Short, but gobbled up there, and there are 2 away.
I mean, D-Row was playing not that long ago, and so one of the cool things about having him in the game and something really tried to emphasize him. It's a little bit of
Another
disbelief there.
Yeah, like that was an animation that was captured without any facial rig, but because of the bank of facial anims that we captured, we were able to add those types of things on. So you're not going to see the deadpan face, that you might have seen previously. You're going to see some emotion on these guys.
Right, and that, it would have been like one of those.
Yeah,
What I was saying about Derosa is that he something we really realized early on working with him is he really knows a lot of these players, and not just on like, oh, he's in the media and he gets to talk to them, but he played with a lot of them, and so I mean he was there with the Nationals when Bryce Harper broke into the big league, so stuff like that you get kind of cool insight with at times from him based on his knowledge of these players. One of his best friends, Brian McCann, he talks about him a lot and that kind of thing. So. Ooh.
Oh! Field and deep.
Into the sun.
And it's over the train tracks.
Bye-bye.
Oh, it clears the tracks.
Double blast.
Nice.
Solo shot here by Jake Marisnick. 7 home runs for him on the year now. And the Astros have pulled back even now with 1 run apiece.
With the count standing at 2-1, he was sitting on anything that was belt high from the middle of the plate in.
Bug there.
And that's
Seeing info
exactly
come up
what
a
he
little
got.
bit earlier, but
and that's what you call punishing a mistake.
we are aware of that bug. Ooh, that went deep.
Jeez.
That's what happens when you hang a curveball.
Brian McCann trying to make something happen with 2 gone in the bottom of the second. Infield in the overshift here. Now the pitch. He pulls this one into right. Mazzara is there, and he'll make the catch to retire the side.
I'm seeing a lot of talk about, is there going to be a legend revealed this stream or not?
There will be a legend revealed in this stream. We're gonna play the game a little while longer, let you guys see this and stuff. But we are definitely going to reveal a legend. I'm pretty excited about revealing this legend, and I'll explain why when we get there.
Backstory? As good as Lick Livingston or better?
Lick Livingston? Is that what you just said?
Yeah. Create a player like Livingston.
Well, it's Nick was very hyped about
First
Big
pitch
Hurt
coming, here it is.
because
Yeah,
of his
obviously,
childhood,
obviously.
growing up in Iowa by him.
Oh yeah,
there's nothing else
we've
to
heard
do
it a ton
or-
of times.
No, yeah.
You can only hear it so many times.
Right. So there was a long build up to that. I'll get to the point a little quicker when we get
Thank
there.
you.
But
Yeah, we
but there is a little, kind of a cool little backstory.
All right.
It's related a little bit to my family, so I'll explain it.
Ooh,
The 1-0.
No, I'm not related to Bob Gibson, just like a family thing.
Boy, this is a spot you
Family,
really don't want to be
like,
in with
experience
a great hitter
with
like
him.
this. 2-0 count. We'll see right here if he lays one in there to give him a pitch to swing at.
3-0 to him now. On deck, there's Jurickson Profar.
Stop laughing, Ramon. Trying to play a game over here, all right? Trying to concentrate. Ill-advised.
yeah. We're just gonna show it. Bob Gibson! Boo! Let's go. All right,
stay hot.
guys. What we're gonna do? Okay, take it off. Take it off, Matt. Kirby, tell your story, and then we're gonna reveal. We don't know who it is. Come on, reveal the backstory, guys. You don't know who it is. Chat, just calm down. We have no idea. No, nobody knows. Nobody knows right now. All right, let's hear the story, and then we're gonna reveal it. Boom. All right, Kirby. So tell us about the legend that we're gonna see. Who's a mystery player?
Yeah, so my dad played minor league baseball for a little while, and we have this today's legend.
Okay. Oh, I'm so excited to hear who it is.
Today's legend was in. My dad was in camp with this legend.
No way.
Yeah, when he was in the
Dude,
minor
that
league.
makes it even better.
Now, of course, this player was a well-established all-star pitcher, Cy Young pitcher at the time. My dad didn't exactly get to play with him very much, but the story was that he got to he was getting on the bus to go play the White Sox in the spring training game, and this particular player.
Okay. I am so excited to hear who
Who's
it
one
is.
of the fiercest competitors in the history of baseball, known for his. I can't do this. Basically, my dad was in the minor leagues when Bob Gibson was with the Cardinals, and so that was kind of a cool thing.
Let's see it.
Bob Gibson, new legend. I botched it, but hey, let's talk about Bob Gibson.
He botched it.
Let's talk about Bob Gibson as a career, though.
This is what happens when you live stream.
This is something that's actually kind of cool.
Just happens.
Hey, this is live, people. This is as real as it gets. We've been working hard. We've been working a lot of late hours.
A lot of late hours.
So it's okay. You can.
Kyle
rest.
Blake
That's cool.
sending out Snapchats at 4 in the morning. It's like, geez, everybody's
Bob
here
Gibson,
late.
though. Good story, Kirby. Yeah. Well, the story's over, but really, that's kind of cool. He always talked about, how awesome it was just kind of being around that, getting to watch him pitch live in games, and again, my dad was in the minors. It wasn't like he was, sitting in the bullpen with him, but he did get on the bus, and his teammates going onto the bus said, "Hey, don't talk to Bob Gibson. Don't sit next to Bob Gibson. Let him be."
That picture right
And,
there, that looks like
tells you all
a
you need to
guy
know.
that you do not want to stand in the
Look
box
at the
against.
chops.
He
So-
just wants to mow you down out there.
One of
Just gas.
One of the greatest pitchers of all time, of course. Hall of Fame inductee in 1981. He won 251 games, over 3,000 strikeouts, 3,117 strikeouts, 56 shutouts in his career, which
56?
Yeah, well, I mean, think about today's game, right? Like people don't get
nobody
50,
goes to the 7th inning.
Yeah, like people don't get
That seems
shutouts
crazy
anymore.
to see.
A 2.91 career ERA, and of course, he's going to be awesome in our game as well. So excited to reveal Bob Gibson in a super eloquently
Very eloquent,
way. But there you go. Ramon, what are you going to do here?
And now he'll step off as they look for a strikeout pitch.
You're muted.
What about now?
And with a big pitch here, he'll
Ramon's
step
going to show
off
you
and
something
make
here
big things.
related to.
No, keep talking. It's gonna take you a second.
Not related to present commentary.
Worries.
Dang it, man.
Hey, don't worry about
Digging
it.
in to try it again.
I'm excited that
Adrian
he's the
Beltre.
legend.
He is a
I don't
cool- he
care
is
how
a
you
cool
announced
legend.
it.
He is a very cool legend. It's going to be fun to.
Yeah, absolutely. Kirby's best stream ever.
Thank you. Thanks.
You know?
Thanks, Spore.
You want it to go one way,
Really-
and then
I
it
really
happens.
I really appreciate that coming from him too. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice.
you know.
Come
Hey,
on,
everybody's
his
got a plan
defensive
until they get punched in the
replacement
mouth.
now as he takes over first base.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Fastball here as he'll take a look
I was
at
trying to
the
win the game. I'm trying to play.
Yeah,
over here.
you're
I'm trying to
focused.
deal with Francis Martez now. Now
Yeah, you're
Ramon's
trying to throw
in.
strikes.
Yeah.
You're trying to comment on the commentary, and you're trying to reveal a legend.
Do it live.
Juggling a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do it live.
I won't impersonate that video, but check it out. It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, you know, trying to juggle a lot of things there, and I couldn't do it.
Oh well.
But you know what? They got the information.
You got the information you needed.
Got a lot of information.
I'm looking
today,
forward
a lot
to playing
of videos.
There we go. Finally found it.
Here we go.
All right.
Oh.
What was that?
New scene.
You have to sit idle for a little while.
And that's through into left, a base hit.
We have new idle scenes in the game. If you want to wonder what that is, some of them are pretty awesome and fun.
Yeah, some are really cool.
Fun.
And
They're
not
fun.
in time as the second run scores.
Here's Joey Gallo now.
On the ground is short. This could be two. Altuve for one. On to first, and they get them both. In now the power hitting outfielder Nomar Mazara.
They won't let me steal.
Oh boy.
Prez commentary stream next year will be not me.
Oh no.
I'm gonna try to be here for the dev tournament. I'm gonna try to make that.
Hey,
I missed the last two.
Who's the reigning champ for the dev tournament? Is it me? I think it's me.
Clearly not Ramon.
No, it's not Ramon.
No, it's not going to be.
It's widget champion.
If I can get the widget that I want. All right, here we go.
All right, he got it.
What are we showing off here, Ramon?
We have Ted Williams at first base. Why do we have Ted Williams at first base? Well, we asked on Twitter, guys was like, what are you doing for out of position logic? And I was like, well, what out of position
Absolutely.
do you think is kind of weak or we need to change? It's like first base, you can put anybody at first base. So we put Ted Williams at first base. Let's see how Ted Williams performs at first base. Oh, he's dropped two balls. Let's we're just gonna keep on doing this
see what
to see
happens.
how many of these he can catch, and I'll explain to you what's going on here. Is he gonna drop this one? He dropped that one too. So what is happening here? We are playing a left fielder, an outfielder at first base. So this happened in the last 3 days. Chris Gill, Lance Leahy, and Jeff Ullman. We told him what the problem was. Jeff worked on it. If you play an outfielder at first base, he's pretty much going to drop like 98% of the catches. He's not going to be able to field the ball. So, we're just going to pull him
And he
off
can't
the
play
bat.
those like animations that
So
would
what
normally
we're
get
doing
those tags.
is, if you're playing an outfielder at first base, we are forcing him into stretch catches, and we are forcing him to drop the ball. Boom. So I don't think you're going to want to play Ted Williams or outfielders or guys who don't have first base as a secondary at first base. So he finally made one. So if you get a perfect throw into his chest, he will catch some of those because there is a dice roll. But as you can see, the vast majority of these,
yeah,
he's going to drop.
You can't expect
So
him to
I
make all
don't
those
know
types
if
of plays.
that's going to be something you want to do. And again, so let's see. We're going to put Springer at second. Let's find out what happens.
Same thing would happen if you put Kyle Saul at first base.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I mean,
we force him into a throw ready, and Ted Williams drops that ball. So there we go. This is something that we did, especially for online play. Guys were putting, who was that? Cougs, Carlos Beltran at first base. I don't think you're going to want to do that anymore. So that's it for us. I'll show you one more time to see what happens. And we got a guy playing out of position at second.
Whoops.
Well, that's on Correa.
That's not good.
And he's probably going to drop that. And he drops the ball again. I think. Is that it? Did we do everything? Did you
Boom.
reveal Bob
I think
Gibson?
we revealed Bob Gibson.
Did you reveal Bob Gibson?
Whoops.
Tips came up to me yesterday. He's like, hey, we're gonna reveal Bob Gibson tomorrow. You cool with doing the legend reveal? I'm like, yeah, man, for sure. I'm doing it.
Oh man,
I got it.
Yeah, he got it.
And I was like, that'll work out well. I'm gonna call my dad, see, get some insight. Jeez.
So that is it for us. We will be back. Not next Thursday. We will be back next Friday. We will be streaming from the MLB The Show Players Lounge in Scottsdale.
Ooh,
that's the DD stream. Yeah, you come. I mean, if we can.
I won't be there, but I would like to be.
Again, we will not be streaming Thursday. We will be streaming next Friday. Next Friday is the Diamond Dynasty stream. So much dope stuff to talk about. And there's a stream schedule. So 2 p.m. next Friday from Scottsdale, which kind of means maybe the GameStop Monday is about. DD, I don't know.
Maybe. Perhaps.
Anything else?
No.
Kirby?
Thank you so much for sticking around, listening. Really hope you guys enjoy the game this year. Looking forward to talking to you guys again next year.
Keep the feedback coming. I mean, look, we saw comments about first base, and immediately, right after the stream, there's 4 people talking about it. So we listen, We care.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
want a great game for you guys and for us, and we appreciate everything.
For Kirby St. John, Kyle Saul, Compton, our man Rick Ross, everybody else, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.